Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. I'm Mary Felling, physical therapist, and today I'm going to be showing you a Piriformis technique that you can do anywhere hands-free. So if you're in your office, at the desk, if you're traveling and you're a passenger, whether you're on the plane, a train, or in the automobile, this is great for you. It helps to relieve things like sciatica, low back pain, and hip pain. If you're having that, this is a great technique. For those of you who have been around my channel, you know I have other styles of techniques for the Piriformis. But what patients have told me and people who are responding to these videos say they like this because it's a hands-free one, like I said, that you can do while you're at your desk, anywhere you're sitting when you're traveling. I even had patients tell me they do this one when they're driving, not just as passengers. So I don't know about that. You really want to pay attention to driving, but if you feel you need some support by reducing back pain or sciatica pain while you're driving and you have to drive, try this at home a few times first to get a good feel of how it works for you before you try it in your car. All right, let's get started. So you need a chair. You do want something that has a little firmness and support to it, so you really can't do this on a couch or a soft chair. Probably not in the bed either. And all you need is a ball. Now I've got a TheraBall here. You want something like, you could use a tennis ball. You could use a racquetball ball, something smaller. This is about 4 inches in diameter. If you don't have any of those, just go to Target or Dick's Sporting Goods and get a small vinyl ball, rubber ball to use. That's all you need. All right, so all I'm going to do, I'm going to be working in the Piriformis. It's the deep part of the hip. And you're going to put it back underneath you, and you want to have some kind of a firm back. So in the car, it's really nice because in car backs are always firm and go from bottom to the top of your shoulder. And what'll happen because of the height of that, it's going to kind of sink you over to your opposite side. So have a folded towel of some kind. I just have a hand towel here. Put that under your other cheek, and that'll help keep you in balance so that you can continue maintaining the pressure into the Piriformis during your drive or at your desk. All right, so we've got that timer started, and because we're doing a John Barnes technique, it is a 5-minute minimum. And I'm going to lean back a little bit. There, so now I feel like I'm right in there. My leg is relaxed. I've got the other side of my hip supported by a folded up, you saw the folded up little towel I have there, so that my back's not doing a lot of work to keep me upright. And then in this position, what I'm feeling for is I'm on a tender or tight spot, and I'm definitely on that. If you're not, go ahead and pause this video, get into the position, make sure you're really on a spot that matters. It should not be comfortable. It should either be very tight or hard, an area that's hard to, or it's uncomfortable and it's tender. So while you're in this position, remember the 5 minutes I was talking about? That's an uninterrupted 5 minutes. So you can't be in there for a minute or two and then say, oh, I need to readjust, and then go back to that timer for that 5 minutes. You actually have to start over every time you shift or move out of the position. So it's an uninterrupted 5 minutes to get the fascia. So what's the difference of working with the muscle of the fascia? Well, the fascia uses mechanical energy to help it to release. So mechanical energy can be compression, can be elongation or twisting. And when you put a mechanical energy into the body, after 5 minutes, it elicits this electrical flow called the piezoelectric effect. And that piezoelectric effect just happens to flow along the fascia. And so when it comes to these areas of the fascia that are tightened down, bound down, glued, and stuck, it helps those to rehydrate, soften, and lengthen. So when I'm talking about these areas of fascia that are bound down and glued and dehydrated, that's called the myofascial restriction. Myo means muscle. So how did those myofascial restrictions get there? Well, because of our lifestyle, we have a lot of overuse and repetitive use through different areas of our body. We have postures that we're in for prolonged periods of time. And prolonged periods of time in a posture you know, we're like this instead of nice and tall. And by the way, make sure your back is nice and tall. If you need to, you can put a support in your higher part of your back so you can rest against that. But those things, and then things like stress, having surgery, all those cause the fascia to bind down, curl under, and dehydrate and tighten. And when they do, when the fascia does this, it can put up to almost 2,000 pounds of force per square inch in whatever's in its way. Well, that fascia, all the fascia in our body moves through and is infused in our muscles, blood vessels, nerves, ligaments, tendons, organs, everything, our spinal cord. So because when the fascia binds down from overuse, repetitive use, etc., it causes pressure on these pain-sensitive structures. So now you've got pain, loss of mobility. These myofascial release positions and release techniques I'm showing you help you to release that crushing pressure on those pain-sensitive structures. Minimum of 5 minutes. Feel free to stay here for 8 minutes. You'll just get more releases and more symptoms relieved when you're doing this. Like I said, it's great for sciatica, low back pain, hip pain. Try and do both sides when you do work on yourself. It's always good to find at least one spot on a side, and if you can work on 2 spots right in a row, it's really helpful. That'll help you just move through the recovery faster. All right, so we're coming up to the end. We've got about a couple of seconds left here in our 5 minutes. I'm sorry. We're at 4 minutes, so we still have a minute left. So while you're in this position, what you're feeling for are releases. And a release feels like an area that's softened. You might feel some radiating symptoms somewhere else. Maybe you're in this position, you go, oh my gosh, that's radiating over to my back where my back hurts. Or maybe it's going down to the back behind your thigh and you're getting those sciatica kinds of symptoms. Anything that softens or eases, you might have a sense of well-being. All of those are a sign that the fascia is releasing. And like I said, a minimum of 5 minutes, but you can be there 7, 8 minutes. You'll just get more releases. All right, now we truly are coming to the end of our 5 minutes. And so for the purpose of this video, I'm going to stop. Feel free to continue in that position. And then always do a new technique, a minimum of 14 days in a row to help move the fascia to soften and release. It's going to have what's called tissue memory. Tissue memory is we start opening and releasing the tissue, and then the brain says, no, it's supposed to be tightened down here. And then as you do more and more work, you get a lengthening and a shortening. So that's a 2 steps forward, 2 steps back kind of a thing, until eventually the brain recognizes that the fascia and the tissue, the muscle, are back on its normal length, and it kind of goes, oh yeah, I remember this, I'm going to stay here. So minimum 14 days in a row, and then after that, to maintain those new positive changes you've got, then continue maybe twice a week, or after you know you've done a lot of things. Maybe you're gardening right now this time of year. Maybe you're doing a lot of care for a loved one and you have to bend over a lot and you're in those kind of hard positions. Make sure at the end of the day to do a piriformis release. It really makes a difference for low back and hip pain. It's a big help on that sciatica stuff too. All right, everyone, thanks for joining me today. Take care of yourselves. Glad you found this next video, and I'll see you in our next one.